Hello, this is Bern, and if you notice that you keep attracting men who are bad for you, on today's video I want to share with you why this happens so you can start making better choices. Hello, this is Bern. Welcome to another edition of BernMendez.com, a space where I share how you can attract the man and the relationship you want as a result of being the best and most feminine version of you without the need to play gimmicks or manipulate in any way. Now, if you've noticed that you keep attracting men who are horrible for you, if it's the same dude with a different face time and time again, and when it happens, you feel super excited and then it crashes and burns, and then on repeat, here's why it happens. The first reason why I've seen that happen is because many women confuse arousal and intensity for compatibility. If you feel high intensity towards a man, and if you experience that sense of butterflies in your stomach, it's easy to tell yourself the lie that this dude is compatible with you. Which leads me to my second point. Sometimes in your attempt to create a sense of compatibility, you project a fantasy. And you do this by the way you speak to yourself and the way you speak to other people in your life. For example, if you connect with a guy, you start feeling that intense connection / chemistry / arousal / hormones flowing, and you start looking for ways in which you guys are similar, you will tell yourself that you just met the most amazing man, that you have so much in common with him, that he's incredible, even though it may not be true. So you're in fact projecting a fantasy to fit into the idea that this guy that you want to connect with is similar to you so you can make things happen. Now, it's obviously something you don't do consciously, but you need to be aware that this happens a lot, because when you tell yourself about a guy that you don't know, that he's the most anything that you've ever met, that's reason to stop and say, that may not be true. He may appear to be that guy, and maybe he'll prove me right, but right now it's just a hypothesis. Number 3. Many times, we human beings are attracted to what's familiar. Even if what's familiar is horrible for us, it represents abuse or pain. Let me share with you what this means. If you grew up in a household, for example, where you experience harshness and criticism from your dad, and maybe your mom was drinking too much, those two things that you experience, those two experiences create in your heart, in your nervous system, the experience of love. So in other words, what feels familiar to you is painful. Your definition of love is unhealthy, not consciously but unconsciously. Sometimes you encounter that subconsciously in another human being and you say yes to them, not despite the fact that they're bad for you, but because they're bad for you, because what's bad for you feels true, feels like love, which is why it's important to learn to recalibrate your picker of men. But this is why it happens many times. Number 4, it's what I call hunger syndrome. Sometimes you haven't had lunch for 3 weeks and someone presents to you a crappy hamburger that is badly cooked and is filled with toxins. Nothing against hamburgers, some are great, but some are not great. McDonald's, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, let's say you eat one of these McDonald's hamburgers and you find that it's not what satiates your hunger, but you have to eat it if you haven't had food in 3 weeks. Many times your mind enters a scarcity mindset. You haven't had what you want for so long that you hunger for it, and the first